How was everything today?
Really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Today, even watching you and just visually watching you work away was really, really good. It excites me watching other people, and you can't go up into people's salons. I just watched, it really excites me watching you work away today. You're very diligent in everything that you did, and very, very thorough, and I loved it. But look, tell our viewers a little bit about you, about your background, and a bit about your business, if that's okay.
Yeah, well, this is a bit of a dream come true for me, genuinely. Like a big moment for me. One of the main reasons I got into hairdressing was initially cool guys like yourself and your brother.
It's flattery.
Gave me kind of, I could see a bit of a future ahead for me in my career, genuinely. So that medium was Toni and Guy about 15 years ago. And through my love, I suppose, of people and being a people pleaser, hairdressing was maybe the medium that helped me get into that industry. So I did hairdressing, trained obviously with Toni and Guy, moved on to work later on in Queen on Ainger Street under John Maher and Zara, and kind of found my own feet by taking on more of a male clientele and having 5 younger brothers, doing terrible haircuts on them for many, many years. I used to have a laptop, sit in my mum's kitchen, try and replicate the American and I suppose European barbers that were on YouTube at the time. And that's kind of how I switched from hairdresser to barber.
Yeah.
And cut and sew was 9 years ago, kind of taught up in my mum's kitchen because she wanted me not cutting hair in the kitchen anymore.
Okay.
So that's
you really went down that road though, didn't you? It's like that bespoke role of barbering, because you were an exceptional hairdresser as well. I mean, you're doing your training as a hairdresser.
Yeah.
And you just capitalized on something very, very current at the time as well. It was emerging really. Not so much in Dublin so much. I mean, obviously there's barbers there, but you really took that path and it really capitalized for you in your career realistically. And that's what made you left hairdressing. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, like I think it was right place, right time. I didn't plan to have more than one employee, or it was literally a pop-up shop. It wasn't actually called Cut and Sew. It was me still doing women's hairdressing, and more of a male clientele were coming to me, and the phone was ringing more from a male, I suppose, a men's perspective to do barbering and short haircuts. And then the hairdressing, I kind of lost interest in the colouring, editorial, kind of session stylist, wedding hair. And I just really flourished. I just latched on to that time, cool barbering, a lot of TV shows and movies really made me go for it, like Mad Men and films on like Prohibition eras and stuff like that. So I just really found, I think my niche was dealing with people and more of a male clientele, a kind of half an hour, 40-minute appointments, as opposed to 3 hours with doing ladies, colour corrections, etc.
Wow, very good, very good. Look, tell us about the name, Cut and Sew. Sew came from sort of merchandising, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, so cuts for the haircuts and sew for the clothes. So we wanted a uniform when it became myself and another employee. Because, we were thinking cool branding. When we're walking around town, people might see the name and say, oh, I don't see another barbershop doing that. Which I don't think there actually was. I don't know, I think I'm correct though. I don't think there was nearly any other barbers.
I don't think so.
With branding in Dublin anyway.
Yeah.
And we used it as a uniform, but actually the clients wanted to wear it because we actually used, that's another side project. I like designing the clothes. It's a bit of an outlet from me. And yeah, Cut and Sew merged, became a brand as opposed to Sean's Barbershop. So anyone that was under the umbrella of Cut and Sew, when I wasn't there, they felt they could trust Jay, Paul, Amy, Leah, etc., through that journey, and that's how it's flourished as a brand.
I think that was very clever of you to do that. So it wasn't just about one person either.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very clever. And even the branding part of it, again, very, very clever that you did something kind of cool that people wore. It was actually branding out there.
Yeah.
Very good exercise to run and get people to wear it. But not only that, it's the brand, the whole thing, the whole aesthetic and the brand appearance that you have is very, very cool. I do really like it.
Appreciate it.
Coming from a hairdressing background, what did you bring into, say, the barbering industry? What did you take from hairdressing that you brought as part of your sort of work ethic or technical ability? What was it that you brought into?
The main thing and the reason I think we flourished was client care and the time you gave the client, the training, the professionalism. In a barber shop, traditionally, you just sit on a bench and you wait for the next person. They don't even look in the eye. You're not greeted. It was a 5-star service and professionalism in hairdressing that I think that when I transitioned that and doing appointments, we were one of the first to do online appointments for a barbershop in Ireland. I think there was 2 barbers that I know of actually were only ahead of us. And I think they were one of the first 3 in Irish history to do online bookings, which is crazy. So taking that professionalism, building rapport, and I suppose a relationship by knowing the client's name when they come in, greeting them, not leaving them more than 30 seconds was the training I had. You know, we had to sit down and, how are you doing? Nice to meet you. John, Paul, Sean, how are you?
Yeah.
That was more the thing, and people weren't used to that. It took them a weird time to transition from, hiya, jump in the chair, to, hiya, Mr. or whatever, you know, Davey or Mr. Bryan, have a seat.
Yeah, yeah.
So when they got that that's already a huge step up from the traditional barbershop. That just really blossomed us, and word got out, and it was snowballed into just, you need to go here, you need to go here. And then we got fully booked. And crazy time to 8 years ago when we set up online bookings to have 2 shops, I think, within 2 years with 8 stylists. It's mental. When it was only me, you know, at the very start. So 2 years later, it was 8 barbers. Mental.
I think even the progression with what you just said there, which sort of resonated with me as well, that sort of conveyor belt thing, sat in a chair waiting for your next slot to come in, from barbershop to now people booking in appointments, and even going from like a 5-minute haircut to like a 30, 40-minute haircut now, has taken time to do, but a lot of people are doing it now, and it's great because it's taking time, and it's not only for the client, it's actually for the stylist or the barber themselves behind the chair, that they can actually take pride in their work, you know, and give a lot more passion towards it. Because otherwise, if they are doing a conveyor belt thing, when it's in and out, in and out, in and out all the time, they lose sort of that creative outlet to expand their creativity or somewhat, or explore that creativity. So it just becomes like a mundane job, in fact, doesn't it? So that taking a little bit more time, booking appointments, I think is a great, great thing. Even putting a flag in the sand right at this moment in time, you know, where people are, you know, upping the game, taking the next progression, challenging the status quo, if you like, always allows us creatively to push it to the next level. So some people may see Sean Bryan, Cut and Sew, they've upped the game. So you have done something for society, which is great, because then people will up the game again and taking it to the next level. And that is why, and I see this with you as well, even just chatting to you today, even as salon owners or you know, leaders of your team, you have to kind of keep evolving and keep changing for you to kind of up that level.
Definitely.
Okay, stay above the crowd as well. But look, can I ask you, in reverse to that first question I just asked you, what advice would you give a hairdresser that they could take from a barbering situation, men's hairdressing or barbering, and adapt it into hairdressing?
I don't know, there's a couple of, it's a little bit more, it's a totally different craft. I know the medium seems the same, you're cutting hair, male or female, long, short, but it's the atmosphere I think has kind of changed. And yeah, I don't really know. I think you can be a bit more, you have a bit more freedom, I feel, in a salon. You know, at a barber shop, it's very much a 0, 1, 2, or they want this, that, and the other. So I don't know. It's a totally different game. I actually can't really answer that one. So no, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. When I analysed it myself and I look at all your equipment, I think equipment is a big thing. I think equipment, and a lot of hairdressers don't have that equipment, you know, and they go in with like scissor over comb. They have maybe a clipper, but they don't have the extensive range of your equipment. And I think that is a big thing. I see.
I know. I can't really think, because they are kind of merging so much
they
now.
are,
You know, because a lot of hairdressers come to us now because they prefer the quick turnaround with the half-an-hour appointments, or they just want to do a one-set thing. I actually like to do everything. I like to do scissors, beard trims, long hair, creative cuts. I don't know. I think it's kind of merging now. So to a hairdresser to now come into the barbering, I don't know. There's a bit more respect between. I used to not respect barbershops when I was a hairdresser and Toni and Guy trained, because we were made to believe we were the best at what we do. And I think every salon and barbershop owner, as a leader, probably should believe that they are, or they should be, leading at the best of their ability. So when I'm going to work or doing a staff training or whatever I put out, I want to encourage everyone in the salon and the customers and followers to see that we are pushing ourselves. But I have a newfound respect for both industries, which I never had before. And I was a bit stuck up probably when I was a hairdresser. Now that I'm a barber, I feel like there's an equal amount of respect in both crafts. You know, if you said you were a barber 5 years ago, I don't think it was as respected. You know, whereas a hairdresser seemed a bit more glam and a bit more of a, you know, a bit more of a higher job title or job role. But I think it's a bit more even now. So I don't know. They're merging, I think, at the minute.
Yeah, yeah. No, 100%, 100%. Look, you have now grown into a 4 barber business. I mean, that's absolutely exceptional. And I don't see it stopping there. I mean, what next for Cut and Sew?
We toyed around with the idea of maybe one in London or one in New York with a mutual friend of ours, Mr. Ryan Skelton.
Oh, right.
But it's no, I think I want to nurture the businesses here. I'm focused with the minute. Great to open a new shop in the pandemic, but I see an opportunity. It's doing really well. I think maybe one more, go north side, 5 shops in the city, and really just kind of micromanage them, and me be like the area manager and spend a day or 2 in each of the shops and just keep the skill set and level as high as it can be. We've an academy which we base out of our main shop in the city, and education is flying for us, so I don't think it's slowing down. I think there's going to be a massive influx of new amazing barbers, which you've already seen, and we're only back open a couple of months. So 5 shops is where I think I'd like to stop. I don't want to dilute the brand or the quality. I think my role will change from full-time director cutting to more area manager and more of a business role in that sense. You know, I kind of have to look number crunch and check all that kind of stuff is just as important, I think, as brand development and brand growth.
Look, when we talk about brand and everything, what is Cut and Sew? Why is it so attractive even to like clients, firstly, and secondly, like your team? Your team seems to be growing like crazy. Like, why? Obviously, that comes with you know, what you have done. I mean, that's quite exceptional what you have achieved, and people want to work there, and people obviously want to come there and have the haircut.
Yeah.
Why is that? What's so special about Cut and Sew?
It's always been a place where everybody's welcome. Genuinely, there's no judgment at all. It's a very fun place to come. It's rare that you get the owner that's similar age to the clients in a lot of businesses. But now that's the new normal, I feel, in barbering. Years ago, as a hairdresser, I was 17, 18, going into a salon. The owner was 20 years older. So there was no real connection between the first in and the owner. But now, it's merged. I'm 34. The guys who come in have to be at least 18. I'm still quite connected to the first guys or the apprentices that come in. So it's still fun. It's a labour of love. I haven't lost love for it. There's always good music. I think music is correct. And we hire people based off their personality, which is a bit mad. We teach them to the best of our ability. And so skill set actually is kind of secondary to the personality. And we let that shine through. When someone comes in, again, it doesn't matter what age, gender, sex, whatever they are, everybody's well, and it's let them be themselves. And there's a beauty to it, because you know, you don't know who is going to be beside the next person, but if you're a good soul and the energy is right, I want to work beside you and work with you, you know.
That's very good, very good. I love that. We're pretty much the same, actually. If the person you know, character based, realistically, yeah. I do. It's the same for ourselves as well. Anybody that we're trying to employ, it's all character based, really.
Yeah.
Tell us about you're big into education. That's why you're here today as well. It's something that's gone from strength to strength with yourself, and throughout lockdown as well. You're doing a lot of business coaching, which is quite unique for you know, barbering. I'd never really seen too much of the barbering coaching going on, or even hairdressing coaching, but I'm starting to see it a lot more often. How did that come about? So
a friend of mine who is a business coach, but not in this field, myself and himself went for a socially distanced walk around Stephen's Green in the lockdown, and I was kind of banging my head against the wall. Like, I need to work. I work well with structure. I need an outlet. You know, it was a crazy time to not cut hair for a year or so for the first lockdown, or in the first period. So business coaching, he was trying to package me that I'd have a lot of knowledge to give, and a lot of people didn't have someone to go to in the barbering industry. I had a really good mentor in hairdressing, or mentors in hairdressing, and people to look to, but we don't have that in barbering. So I would see us as some of the leaders, or one of the leaders in that. but I didn't think of myself as the leader in or one of them. So we had a little consultation. I did a business coaching session with himself, and we kind of come up with a blueprint of how to help improve your business, brand development, what is Cut and Sew about, how can I sell that to people, make it more attractive. I felt like I got kind of stagnant with, you know, Instagram followers, social media following. We didn't have as many wanting to come and work with us. You know, I was using Instagram to sell the business, whereas I should be using Instagram as a narrative to the business, like get to know the staff. They don't always see me going Instagram live. It's about the people in it, and I'm trying to sell the story or show the story on, as opposed to sell the business. So I did that, did some online business coaching over Zoom. I just asked people 5 things that they want to improve on, and I'm like an agony uncle that I can kind of, they can call me and I can mentor them, and they would have a private link to my WhatsApp, and we do a checkup once a week for 4 weeks, 1 hour consultation and session. And it was a small package where I would just help them grow their brands. A lot of people don't know how to create social media content, how to get apparel designed, how to get a website, a booking links, things that I take for granted. So it was the same 5 to 10 questions mainly, but once they kind of spoke,
what were the main questions? Can I ask? Maybe 2 or 3 of them. Now,
that was kind of where do you get your clothes done? What booking system do you use? Do we do chair rental? Do we employ all of our staff, which we do? We don't do chair rental. How often do we do team education nights? How often do we sit down with each individual member of staff? Things that you were like, is this not 101 business? But again, I left school at 16, so my training has just been my experience. So if I'm 15 years doing it and 9 years as a business owner and the owner, it's like, without me realising, I had actually built up my own other form of business, which just so happens to be maybe coaching in that direction, and we had about 100 clients in a 1.5 year period. So it's great, and it helps me improve because I get to know their insights, their worries, their concerns, and it's in a strange time, it's nice to see people going through the same struggles, and it will be all right in the end, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it helps you question what you do as a business. I mean, for me, even with education, even taking sections, when you break it down, you actually start understanding. Actually, hang on a minute, this is why I do this, and you start questioning yourself for you to move forward. Even with business, if you start, I'm sure you learn an awful lot by that process, right?
Yeah.
And I really do think we undervalue the process, because it's the process which has actually brought you to this point of learning how to do all those things, get the apparel, get the website up and running, all those things that you take for granted. You've sort of undervalued that process, how much value that holds to people, because that's what stops people from going off and doing their own business, because they don't know or have the fear of not knowing, you know.
And a thing that makes me or helps me kind of sleep sound at night is when I started off, I just had a scissors and a comb, and if it all didn't work out with my creative freedom and all of the risks that I've taken, I would be just as happy with a scissors and a comb. And that's a piece, I don't know how I've come to calm with that, but it just makes me know that I can always cut hair and make money, enough to live and to get by. So it doesn't seem like a risk. It's calculated, but it's a calculated risk. But I believe in the brand so much because I'm driving it and I still love it.
I'm fucking high-fiving that. I feel the same way myself. I feel exactly the same way myself. You know, you can go back, you've got your scissor, you've got your comb, you've got something that you can...
Yeah. And I've lost a shop, nearly lost 2 shops. A lease came up. Yeah. I didn't have a business coach. I didn't have a plan in place. I didn't have the correct lease, legality, solicitor, financial advisor, which I've all done now, but it takes years in business to do that. So, and everybody will lose. My first business was a barbershop in a gym. No one knew about it. It failed after 3 weeks. Literally, I got kicked out 3 weeks. There's no customers. So there's a lot of fails that people don't see, but it's, again, a scissors and a comb. I believe in myself, and if I'm driving the brand, I think we'll do good.
No, totally agree with that. Look, new stylist starts, right? This is for all of us, you know. Yeah. Our goal is to improve coordination and increase productivity without decreasing standards. I mean, look, what do you in Cut and Sew? How do you go about sort of making sure that a new person comes on the floor, correct productivity? They've got to make money, obviously. The more they earn, the more you earn, and so on and so forth. Like, or the more the company earns, they earn from that as well. So they get a salary. So it's important for them to be very, very busy. How do you go about doing that?
Very good question. So in all of the years of doing it, we were doing so well that I didn't pay attention to the finer details, the profit and loss sheets, staff performances. When a stylist would come to me or a barber looking for a pay rise, I would just give them a small pay rise. I would kind of in my head know who was busy and who wasn't. But after years and years and years of going through, and actually through the lockdown, just before the lockdown, I had a really good coaching session with a client of mine who was an accountant, and said, "What's your performance rate per person per rate of pay?" Which is all stuff that I didn't know. I'm just a barber, but I'm a business owner. So we kind of have an algorithm. We start everyone off on a basic rate of pay, and then every 3 months we kind of have an algorithm. They need to bring in 2.5 times their gross to justify the current wage. So if they don't reach that on the profit and loss sheet each month for 3 months, we don't give them a pay rise. It's the best advice we've ever used, and it works for us.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, and obviously we chat to them. I try and be there. I say, look, if you need me, I'm here. And we have a private WhatsApp group for all of the managers and all of the stylists. And I just say to them, just don't text me on a Sunday.
Yeah.
But we're very, you know, I share all the social media content out to the managers first and tell them that we need X, Y, and Z done. And then we'll invite all of the other staff to help promote themselves. So social media is a huge thing now. My role has changed. I have to get a better photographer, videographer, graphic designer, stuff like that. So it's very, very hands-on. Like every day I talk to most of the staff. So that, and we're 20 staff now across 4 shops. So it's a tough job. It's about 2 to 4 hours minimum a day of on the phone, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, email for the education, and just swipe up links for the day ahead. So it's a lot of work. It's not all glamorous.
How do you manage your time? Do you manage it well? Do you feel it's you're good at that at the moment? Have you learned
I'm pretty focused at the minute, and I think I have a newfound respect for, you know, a lot of people have lost their business due to COVID-19, and I don't know, I think because I work so hard and the brand has been so honest, and I've really been about supporting local and supporting our neighbours and the guys, and I'm very vocal about that online, that people came back to us. They didn't go to the black market haircuts as much, and we've not only survived, we've opened a new store. So it shows that people do follow the narrative or the message of Cut and Sew, which is we support, and it's a family affair. You know, I do very much sometimes cross the line with being really good friends with the staff, but I know when to put the boss helmet on and be like, put them in check, you know, so to speak. But I'm there, I'm human, I do the same job. I'm not wealthy in the sense of money, but I'm very rich with a good lifestyle. 4 businesses doing well. Like, very happy and very lucky to be able to stay open in these tough times.
Very good. Look, you can treat this question kind of deep, or you can treat it kind of tongue in cheek. Do you feel the wind is on your back, or do you believe it's on your face?
I don't really know what that is. I think I'm going to say maybe on my back.
Do you believe it's blowing in your right direction or against you?
We're Cut and Sew.
Yeah, just in life, in
life.
like with business.
Yeah, I mean, it comes in, I suppose, more waves than blows of wind. But I've had ups and downs, you know, and I've had really tough times, as we spoke about, nearly losing two shops when I only had 3. Would have been down to 1, and it gave me a new lease of life. Sometimes falling down literally motivates you back to a different level. And I feel like, you know, from nearly going from 3 to 1 to now 4, it's a whirlwind or roller coaster of an industry. So I don't know, I think if I put the work in, I think the wind will blow me in the right direction. Okay. So I have to work to a certain level to justify what I think is successful. And I can't enjoy a holiday unless I put in the hours.
Yeah. Look, tell us a little bit about the classes that you did with us today.
So the first look we created was a classic gent skin fade. Really, really popular. It's what we do 90% of the time probably in Cut and Sew. Really fun haircut to do, really tight clipper work. And it's really step-by-step way of, it's exactly how I cut hair in the shop every day. Second look was a bit more of a free expression, kind of fun, editorial, longer scissor cut on a gent. And it was a bit more fun. I went back to kind of hairdressing foundations, like session work, very visual. I suppose, made it a bit more contemporary with the feather blade, and real fun haircut to do, mess around. You can put your hand through it, you can hairspray. So really fun look, and then really one that is your bread and butter, so to speak, hair, classic skin fade. It was great fun.
Very good, very good. You know, I've got to say, you seem to work around the clock. I sometimes look at you and go, there must be about 4 or 5 Sean Bryans working with you at the same time, because you do work very, very hard, and that's a massive, you know, you should be very grateful for what you have. You're very, very good, and You continue to do and strive to do wonderful things. You do realize when you Google you, there's lots of tutorials on you online, which you know about anyway. But there's also another Sean Bryan, which is a ninja warrior, a US ninja warrior. Did you ever see that?
No.
No? Okay.
I didn't know where this was going to go.
I was like, Jesus. Yeah, this ninja warrior is a competition in America, and there's a Sean Bryan as well.
Really?
Which you didn't know. Yeah, I was like, Jesus, Sean's doing this. I was like, what the hell?
You know, who knows?
But, yeah. But there's loads of great stuff online about you and your videos, and I see a massive future for you, mate. And thank you very much. For me today, it's been very grateful to have you on part of the show and do 2 masterclasses with us. Thank you very much.
Not at all. One of my heroes.
Cheers, very good indeed.